Jessica, a vibrant 25-year-old graphic designer, always had an adventurous spirit and a love for art in all its forms. Tattoos, for her, were not just body art. They were a form of self-expression, a testament to the moments and memories that shaped her life. Eager to commemorate her latest achievement, a promotion at work, she decided to get a new tattoo, a decision that would unknowingly alter the course of her life. She chose a small, trendy tattoo studio that had recently opened in her neighborhood. The place buzzed with creativity and boasted a roster of talented artists. Jessica was drawn to the studio's modern aesthetic and the artist's impressive portfolio. After a consultation, she settled on a delicate floral design to be inked on her wrist. The process was smooth, and the result was stunning. Jessica left the studio feeling elated, proudly wearing her new piece of art. However, within a few days, she noticed something was wrong. The tattoo site became excessively red, swollen, and painful. Initially dismissing it as a normal reaction, Jessica soon realized that the pain was intensifying, and the area around the tattoo started showing signs of infection. Unbeknownst to her, the instrument used for her tattoos was contaminated, exposing her to a deadly pathogen. This twist of fate plunged Jessica into an unforeseen battle for her health and ultimately her life. As the infection from the tattoo site worsened, Jessica's concern grew. The once beautiful floral design turned into a source of constant pain and anxiety. She visited her local clinic, where the severity of her condition became apparent. The infection had spread, and tests revealed that she had contracted a rare, aggressive bacterial infection. The news was a shock to Jessica. What started as an expression of her achievements and joy had spiraled into a nightmare. She was immediately started on a course of strong antibiotics, but the infection proved to be resistant. Her condition rapidly deteriorated, and she was hospitalized for more intensive treatment. Days turned into weeks, and Jessica's life was reduced to the confines of a hospital room. Her days were filled with a cocktail of medications, painful treatments, and the constant beep of medical monitors. The bustling life she once knew, filled with creativity, friends, and dreams, seemed like a distant memory. Her family and friends were in disbelief. They rallied around her, offering support and hope, but the uncertainty of her condition cast a shadow over their efforts. Jessica's bright future was now overshadowed by the fear of the unknown. She grappled with a mix of emotions: anger at the turn of events, sadness for the life she was missing, and a growing fear of what might lie ahead. As Jessica lay in her hospital bed, staring at the now distorted tattoo, she couldn't help but reflect on the series of choices that led her to this point. The irony of the situation was not lost on her. A symbol of life's beauty and her achievements had become a harbinger of illness and despair. The turning point in Jessica's ordeal came during a critical night in the hospital. Her condition had become increasingly precarious, and the doctors were running out of treatment options. The infection had not only resisted all antibiotics, but had also begun affecting her vital organs. Jessica, lying helplessly in her hospital bed, was confronted with the real possibility of her life ending prematurely because of a seemingly harmless choice she had made. That night, as she battled high fever and delirium, Jessica experienced a moment of startling lucidity. She realized how fragile life was and how her passion for art and expression had unknowingly led her to the brink of death. The thought of her life being cut short by something as meaningful to her as a tattoo was a cruel twist of fate. Her family, keeping a constant vigil by her bedside, were heartbroken. They whispered words of encouragement, hoping for a miracle, but bracing for the worst. Her mother, holding her hand, prayed silently, tears streaming down her face. In those dark, still hours of the night, Jessica found herself bargaining with fate. She thought about the things she still wanted to accomplish, the places she wanted to see, and the experiences she longed to have. The thought of not being able to fulfill these dreams filled her with a profound sense of desperation. As dawn broke, Jessica's condition reached a critical stage. Her body was struggling to fight the infection, and her doctors prepared for emergency interventions. It was a race against time, and the odds were not in her favor. The following days were a blur for Jessica, marked by a series of emergency procedures and an intense fight for her life. Miraculously, after several harrowing days, there was a glimmer of hope. Jessica's condition began to stabilize, and the infection started responding to a new combination of treatments. It was a slow and uncertain recovery, but for the first time in weeks, there was a cautious optimism among her doctors and family. As Jessica lay recovering, each day brought small victories. A reduction in pain, the ability to sit up in bed, and eventually the strength to take a few steps. The physical scars of her ordeal were evident, but the emotional and psychological impact was far more profound. She was haunted by the experience, struggling to come to terms with how close she had come to losing everything. During her long recovery, Jessica had time to reflect on her life and the choices she had made. The tattoo, once a symbol of joy and self-expression, was now a constant reminder of her brush with death. She grappled with mixed feelings about it, a blend of regret, resentment, but also a strange sense of gratitude. It had, after all, given her a new perspective on life. The experience changed Jessica in ways she could never have anticipated. She became more cautious and introspective, valuing her health and well-being above all else. Her outlook on life shifted. She no longer took her days for granted and became more focused on making meaningful connections and experiences. Months after her discharge from the hospital, Jessica's life had taken on a new rhythm, one that was quieter and more reflective than before. The tattoo on her wrist, now a faded and distorted version of what it once was, served as a constant reminder of her ordeal and her resilience. She decided to keep it as it was, unaltered, as a symbol of her survival and a testament to the fragility of life. Jessica's brush with mortality had instilled in her a newfound appreciation for the simpler joys of life. She found pleasure in long walks, reconnecting with nature, and spending quality time with her family and friends. Her career, which once dominated her life, now took a back seat to her health and personal well-being. She became an advocate for health awareness, sharing her story to educate others about the risks and safety measures in tattooing. Jessica's experience sparked conversations about the importance of regulatory standards in the tattoo industry and the need for greater awareness about potential health risks. Her journey was not just a story of survival, it was a story of transformation. Jessica emerged from her life-threatening experience with a deeper understanding of herself and a clearer vision of what truly mattered in her life. The scars she bore were not just physical, but were imprints of her newfound strength and perspective. Years later, Jessica looked back at that period as a pivotal chapter in her life. It was a time that tested her in ways she never imagined, but it also brought clarity and purpose that she might never have found otherwise. Her life, once defined by external achievements, was now enriched by the wisdom gained through her struggle and survival.